When Streets of Rage 4 was released, the beaten-up world was shaken to its core. The amazing visuals, the incredible soundtrack, the outstanding combat set a new standard for their genre. So much so that players all over the world started to compare every subsequent release to it. I mean, even if you're not a huge fan of the game, you can't deny how big it was. Now, 5 years later, Dotemu and Guard Crush join forces once more to create something different and even more impressive. Hello and welcome, my friends, to The Flying Kick. I am Savino, and today it's my pleasure to bring to you the review of Absolum, an amazing roguelike beaten up that will change how you see both genres from now on. Absolum could have had a basic story like most games in this genre, but instead the developers decide to create a dense and complex lore that we are not used to seeing in games like this. It tells the story of a world of magic which was destroyed by the mage's thirst for knowledge and their own hubris. After this calamity, the sun god Azra took advantage of the chaos, hunted and enslaved the mages, and banned the use of magic across the land. Now only a few mages remain hidden among the forests of Talan, organizing themselves to hopefully defeat the sun god once and for all. The story here is very good. It will take you a good while to uncover every bit of the lore, but trust me when I say, this is not a game you want to skip the dialogues. Visually, Absolum is, as you all can see, quite impressive. Right from the start, the game will grab your attention with a cinematic cutscene where Galandra and Carl protect a tavern from Azra forces. The animation is breathtaking, perfectly setting the tone for what is coming ahead. Once you're in-game, it's just as impressive. It shows the forces of Azra moving steadily in the background while the camera pans down, showing lots of moving layers until it lands over our heroes, beautifully illuminated by the warm light from the campfire, contrasting with the cold moonlight. It's mesmerizing. After this first one, every scene here is packed with detail, rarely seen in games like this. Reflections on puddles, trees and flags swaying in the wind, raindrops making ripples on water, gusts of wind blowing dust off the ground. Everything here feels alive. Even caves have depth and movement thanks to some awesome parallax scrolling. By the way, this game has some of the best parallax scrolling I have ever seen. Absolum is one of the few games that treats its backgrounds with respect. It's a living and breathing world and not a simple and generic backdrop for you to fight a few enemies. And sure, with so much care for something like the backgrounds, it's expected that the characters would have the same treatment, and you are right. The characters in Absolum are a spectacle of their own. Not only they look uniquely amazing, but they also have tons of personality. You see enemies cheering when you get hit or yelling in frustration when you beat them. Even the tiniest of the goblins has a lot of charm. This is all enhanced by the excellent animation where each step, each punch has the exact weight they need. It's all incredibly smooth and a pleasure to see a beaten up made with such care. Absolum is more than a beautiful game. It's a game that feels alive in every scene. When it comes to the sounds and OST, Absolum doesn't make anything different from the graphics. Everything here is excellent. Starting with the OST, well, there is no way the OST wouldn't be amazed with names like Gareth Cocker from Ori and Halo, Mick Gordon from Doom, and Yuka Kitamura from Elden Ring and Dark Souls. As expected, the music here is fantastic, and you will find a huge variety of styles here, from calm and soothing tunes like the main theme composed by Gareth, to heavy tunes like the one from The Under King composed by Mick Gordon, which, as you can expect, is a very heavy industrial metal tune. And the tunes are not excellent to listen to, but they add a lot to the mystery and mood of the game. Now, one thing that impressed me the most here about the OST is how dynamic it is. After defeating a large group of enemies or a boss, the music shifts to a grand fanfare announcing your victory. Afterwards, it fades, leaving only the ambient sound of the world. And that's another thing that caught my attention here. Absolum is one of the rare beaten ups to have ambient sound. If you stop and listen, you can hear the winds in the forest, crickets chirping, and droplets of water falling. Sure, as I said in my Dragon's Crown video, these sound effects add little to the game, since to hear them you have to stop and be quiet in a game where speed and excitement are kings, but even so, it shows how committed the developers were when creating this world. And there are the voices. As I said earlier, Absolum has a ton of story and everything here will be voiced. Even small comments about the world the characters will make during their adventures are voiced here. And the voice actors are superb. Mother, one of the central characters in the game, has such a voice and accent that I could happily listen to her the whole day without getting tired.
Gift I hope to give you myself one day. Claim the ritual.
Not to mention, the act is incredible. The same can be said about even the smallest of the character in this game. Every line, every voice fits the character and the moment perfectly, conveying whatever emotion the situation demands. It's amazing. And there's the sounds of your attacks, which, well, are as you expect, very, very good. They have that crunchiness we all love to hear in these games, and in some moments, like when you're fighting inside vast halls, you can hear your attacks echoing between the walls. It's pretty great. Sure, from time to time, especially when playing with a friend, the sounds will become a cacophony of slashes and punches, barely giving room to the music or any other sound to make its presence noticeable. But that's expected and ultimately doesn't ruin your experience. With so much care put into the sound work here, even a myriad of random sounds can sometimes sound like a symphony. Now let's talk about what really matters here, gameplay and combat. Absolum is, for those who were living under a rock, beaten up with some heavy roguelike elements. You all know the deal, you start the game, play until you die, rinse and repeat, but here the developers add enough variety to keep the game fresh for a long time. The map is huge, with 4 distinct areas for you to explore and lots of alternate paths for you to choose, and even some secret paths that will require from the player a leap of faith. These alternate paths and secret areas can give you a lot of new information about the world, some nice extra bonuses, and even bosses that otherwise you would never meet. It's a game that will require boldness from the player and will reward them accordingly, with some handsome bonus or a gruesome death by an unexpected enemy. And trust me, you will die a lot in this game, but that's not a bad thing because with each death you will return stronger. With every run, you will be rewarded with 3 different currencies. Crystals, which you can use to improve some of your character stats, like the amount of health, the amount of money you start each run, or how much money you get with each hit. There's also this golden sapling, which you can use to purchase new arcanas for your characters. Arcanas are your special attacks, and you can pick one from a total of 6 after you unlock them all, that is. These special moves are pretty powerful as they are diverse, and they can greatly change how you play the game since they are essential to extend your combo strings or perfect to finishing an enemy. You can choose which arcana you want to use before jumping into the fight, but choose well because you won't be able to change it until your next run. Actually, you can use up to 2 arcanas in the game, as you can see here, but the second one will be randomly granted to you after meeting certain conditions in the game. And you can also spend these golden flowers, which you can use to unlock new rituals. Rituals are new moves and traits that you'll be able to pick after each encounter. It goes like this: you enter a new area, face a few hordes of enemies, and before moving to the next scene, a tree will sprout, giving you the chance to pick one of the 2 or 3 random rituals. These rituals, as I said, will work as bonuses during that run. You will find new moves for your characters, you can add fire damage to your move, you can summon shadows and skeletons to fight alongside you. You name it. The variety of rituals you will find here is impressive and can greatly change how your character plays, especially when combined with your arcana. I really enjoy these 2 mechanics because not only you change how you play by picking different arcanas, but the random nature of the rituals will force your hand to change your character even more. Absolum, more than most games, will require a certain knowledge from the player about the enemies you are facing and the powers you are wielding. mashing buttons won't take you anywhere in this game. And here is where I think this game truly shines, the combat. In Absolum you will start with two characters, Galandra, who could be considered your all-rounder in the game, and Carl, who is your short-range and very strong tank. Soon you will be unlocking Cedar, the fast and weak character, and Brom, a frog mage with some pretty nice reach and some very powerful magic. They all have the same commands, but sure, the way they attack will drastically change. Here you have a weak and strong attack, a jump button, a dodge, your arcana, and you can also run and attack and grab enemies by approaching them. You also have a super special attack that you can use once per life or after finding a very familiar star. And you can cancel all these moves with any other you want aside from your special obviously, creating one of the most dynamic combats you will ever try. You can also parry some of your enemy's attacks, and here is where I believe Absolum separates itself from the rest. Absolum is a beat'em up where your best offense starts with defense. You see, your dodge here won't take you away from your enemy like most games do. Here, it will push you towards your enemy. And if you time it right, you will parry their attacks, opening a small window for you to counter-strike. You can also parry their attacks by using your strong attack, which will make the enemies stagger for a long time. And since your enemies are extremely aggressive, these two mechanics will be extremely important for your survival. Sure, you can beat most of the common enemies with regular attacks without worrying too much about these mechanics, but there will be moments when these will be your best tools, especially when facing bosses. Talking about the enemies, Absolum has some of the best enemies around. Here, they aren't only punching bags that you can dispose of with a couple of hits. They are smart and they have a role to fill in the arena that was tailored to exploit your weaknesses. Different from most games where enemies are basically pieces in a game of checkers where only their position matters, in Absolum they are pieces in a game of chess where not only their position matters but also what they are capable of doing. The variety of enemies here is not something made only to show off the artist's skill in creating new faces for you to punch. The variety also lies in how they behave, how they defend themselves, and how they attack you. And since each encounter was handmade, you can be sure that the enemies chosen by the devs are there for a reason, and not only to populate the screen. I honestly think the enemies in this game deserve a video just to talk about how incredible they are. But despite all the qualities Absolum has, the roguelike nature of the game comes with its problems, which for the purists around may hurt the experience. For instance, there is no way to play the game outside the story mode. There's no level selection, so you can't replay your favorites or get better in the ones that give you more trouble. There is no boss rush to get better at the bosses. I mean, it's not really a problem, it's the type of game Absolum is, but I thought it would be cool to make clear to some of you. The fact that the rituals will vanish after you die can be pretty frustrating too, because sometimes you have a build so amazing that you only want to play with it, but even after beating the game without dying, you will lose them, returning to your original moveset. Again, this is all typical of roguelite games, but I won't deny that sometimes it made me feel demotivated to continue. And I miss the codex in the game. I mean, with a lore so big, I think a codex would be a great addition for those who want to dive even further into the game's story. In the end, Absolum is a fantastic game. The graphics, the soundtrack, the combat, the enemies, the acting, everything here was made with incredible care and attention to detail. This is more than a simple beat'em up. This is a work of art, both visually and mechanically. This easily gets the Flying Kick seal of approval, and I highly recommend you to grab it as soon as it released today for Switch, Steam, and PlayStation. The game will cost you $25 and you can play it with a friend both local and online. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, but trust me when I say there's way more to this game than I could tell in one single video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel because, you know, it helps me a lot. I will be back this week talking about another roguelike beat'em up, but until then, I hope you all have an awesome day, and remember, keep beating up.